Man, I feel awesome. My weight's great. I was able to go out there. I just feel real loose, real fluent. That's what we've been working on the entire training camp. Just, having that volume, having that power, having that defense, and just having everything line up for me. That's what it's been like.
I think yesterday when you guys faced off, a lot of people were like, whoa, I didn't realize Damian was that much bigger than Tyron. What was your feeling as you were standing there?
When was the last time I stood across from someone that was 5'9"? I'm probably the shortest guy in the division, but, I make up that with explosiveness and power.
Tyron, what do you think of some of the new weight rules that CSAC has enacted? Has it been a pain for this fight, or is it not a big deal?
For a world champion that's never missed weight, I feel like it's a bit unnecessary for myself. I never went out there and performed poorly because, of a weight cutting issue. I've been doing this since collegiate wrestling, really since high school wrestling. So I feel like I understand what they're trying to do, but we're not boxers. Boxers fight very close to their weight. They also spar too much. They spar 3 or 4 hard days in a row. That's more of a health concern than I think the weight issues. If the sport of MMA, if everybody said, hey, I weigh 190, you weigh 190, let's fight at 190, the world would be a happy place. But unfortunately, it would take 50, 60, 70% of the entire UFC to make that choice for it to have an impact. So I don't think that what they're doing right now is going to be an overnight, impact for our sport.
There was a lot of criticism about your last fight, unjust or not, and I know you explained afterwards how, you're fighting
I don't really have to explain. I'm a world champion. I'm fighting the best of the best. At this level, guys don't want to be finished. I don't want to freaking be finished. So when you're fighting someone that's coming after your belt, they got to come and take that belt for you. And, I don't go out there fighting to prove critics wrong. I already fight in a freaking explosive fashion that what I do just naturally by myself is enough to please the fans. So I don't bear that weight. I don't go out there and say, hey, I've got to do something different than the last fight. Stephen Thompson has made his living off guys being over aggressive, guys that just get frustrated and say, F it, I'm just going here and knock this dude's head off. And what happens? They get knocked out. They eat the canvas. So it was a chess match going on. The true martial artists and the true people that understand the sport and what was going on, they understood the game that was being played.
So you're fighting a different kind of specialist this time around.
Yeah.
How do you think this?
I'm the specialist in MMA. That's the whole thing. I'm the best fucking fighter in the welterweight division. I'm the best wrestler. I'm the best boxer. I have the best conditioning. I'm the most explosive. They're fighting the specialists. I just so happen to specialize in MMA. So with that said, fighting Demian Maia, fighting Stephen Thompson, I basically just absorbed their powers. Things I would have never done in my game, now I'll do those things against other opponents.
Tyron, Sunday marks the 1-year anniversary of you becoming champion. July 30th of last year is when you knocked out Robbie Lawler. This past year, would you say it's the greatest year of your life?
You want me to be real, or you want me to give you the patty cake? No, it's not the greatest year of my life. The greatest year of my life is things like when my kids were being born and when I freaking was an All-American in wrestling. Those are things that are greatest. This is what I expected. I want this platform so that I can inspire people, so I can motivate people, so people can see a young kid from Ferguson that came from shit, that's made his way through, through all this crazy, all these stumbling blocks, all these stumbling things that can stop you from getting there. That's my journey. That's my path. Has it been the greatest year of my life? Financially, many people will say yes, but it's a lot that goes with being a champion. It's a lot of burden you have to weigh. It's a lot of expectations. And with that said, the more money you get, the more problems you have. So I've done a good job. I have a great team to manage those problems, but I'm not going to act like, now that, I've made a certain amount of money that, oh, life is over, no problems exist. And that would be kind of a fluff. So I know you don't want the fluff answer. No. That's the real shit.
What's the biggest difference between this Tyron and the one that we were talking to 2 days before, UFC 201?
201. That's
the Robbie Lawler fight.
That fighter should have been what Demian Maia was. He was happy to get the opportunity to prove that he was a world champion. He would have taken that fight on 1 day's notice. He was going out there confident. He was taking out Goliath. Everybody thought Robbie was a boogeyman at that time, except me. I can look in someone's eyes and I can tell you what type of fight it's going to be at the weigh-ins. I went out there on a mission. I silenced the whole world. If you would have saw how many people in Atlanta arena were completely, they were at awe. They didn't even know what the fuck just happened. So with that said, this is a Tyron that's now I'm just showing you guys a little bit more. I still have yet to have that fight where I showcase everything my coaches know I'm capable of, all the skills, all the things that I bring to the table. I've yet to have that fight where we see me pour it all on. So I'm just looking for that perfect fight, and hopefully, Demian Maia be one step closer to that one.
What would you call the closest that you'd be into getting that?
Kashyap. I came out, I was punching the combination. I envisioned me knocking him out and standing over him moments before I walked out. I remember, I was sitting there, I was praying. My biggest fear of fighting is underachieving. It's not the opponent. I've been in street fights my whole life. It's not the fact that somebody's trying to hurt me. In this case, what's the worst that can happen to me? Somebody can control me. Somebody can take me down, possibly submit me. He's not going to hurt me. He's not going to knock me out. I'm not going to die in this octagon on Saturday. So with that said, the pressure is on me competing, me showing what I'm capable of, me not holding back. And I was praying in that locker room, and then I feel like God kind of showed me standing over him and in victory, and me knocking him out, and me just walking off. And what happened in that fight, Right when I had that, that vision in my mind, I heard Bird scream, "We rolling." And then I walked out, and I told my coach, I looked over at Dean, and I said, "I'm about to knock him out, and it's not going to be long. So you'll need all those bottles of water in the deal. This is going to be a quick night." And he looked at me, and I knocked him out and said, "Tyron, I've never been around somebody that has so many, prophetic things that happen in their life."
Did you check in on how that meeting went with GSP's people after the presser?
I'm good on that.
All
I'm
right.
good on that. I'm focusing on Demian Maia.
Did you read John Jones's comments to the LA Times yesterday about his relationship with Dana and how he considers Ari Emanuel his boss? And he said that, Dana only checks in with you when he wants to make money off of you, but when you can't, he's, not really there for you. And I was wondering if you read that. And
No, I didn't have an opportunity to read it yet. There's been so much going on with the media and stuff. I just been kind of trying to take a step back and just focus on this fight. So no, I did not get an opportunity to read it. All right.
Yesterday, Dana said that GSP gets the winner of this fight. You seem to have some doubt about that. Do you feel confident you'll get?
At the end of the day, that's what happened when fighters start looking too far down the road. You get your ass whooped. You think about Georges St-Pierre. I got Demian Maia, who's on a 7-fight win streak. Everybody who has a great answer, just don't let him take you down. He still takes him down and get on their back and beats them. So with that said, it's not in stone. I've never seen a bout agreement. Georges St-Pierre hasn't communicated to me or my management team that we're fighting next. So with that said, in victory over Demian Maia, that opened up doors for everything else. In defeat, there's no Georges St-Pierre, there's no Nick Diaz, there's no other fight after that. So for all you guys, I really don't want to talk about George. George know where the fuck I'm at. If he wanted to fight me, Demian Maia would have never been in this spot. It would have been me and George. So I think he's playing games. He was on a podcast earlier this week talking to Bisping about fighting Bisping. So let me focus on Demian Maia. Let's give him the respect that he deserves. He's a world-class fighter. Though the fans don't appreciate jiu-jitsu, even though it's built the UFC, I respect jiu-jitsu. I respect what he brings to the table. I don't want to talk about Conor, Floyd, or fucking Georges St-Pierre. I'm just being real.
Do you feel like in a lot of ways he's the tougher challenge rather than Georges St-Pierre, Demian Maia?
What's the next question?
You have the second best takedown defense in UFC history percentage-wise.
Yeah, I have the #1 in welterweight. So
yeah. Would you be surprised if he gets you down once?
No, I wouldn't be surprised because he doesn't take a traditional takedown. He takes what we call a jiu-jitsu takedown. He just needs to get close enough to get his fingertips on you. All the takedowns don't result in him lifting you up and putting you down. Some of them is getting on your legs and jumping a half guard. Going double leg, single leg, half guard, deep sweep. So with that said, it wouldn't surprise me, and I'm not going to say, hey, he's never going to take me down in this fight. But if you do your research and you do the math, you realize that Jake Shields, who dominated Demian Maia, he attempted to take me down 18 times. And he came up short 18 times. And I'm prepared to go out there and do the same thing.
Did you train it?
You said you can see in people's eyes how the fight is going to go. You got a chance to do that with Maia yesterday.
His face was twitching a little bit. Sometimes guys want to show you that they're ready and that they really want something, and they can't stop their face from convulsing and kind of trembling a little bit. This is his shot, man. He said one thing, an embedded thing that really struck a nerve to me. He said, "What better way to go out?" When you start talking about going out and you fighting me, I'm the guy that's retired a lot of fighters. You look at Jay Heron, you look at Andre Galvao. Those are guys that didn't fight again after they fought me. So when you're going into this fight thinking that this is going to be the crown on top of your career, I'm the wrong guy. I'm never giving you access to that. I'm not going to let you get 20 wins against me. So I think he's going to come out hard, especially in the opening rounds. I think that's where not a lot of sweat's going to be involved. He's going to try to get on me quickly. He's going to make it really claustrophobic, very similar to what he did with John Fitch. But at the end of the day, I've proven that I can do these 5 rounds, and I can do them like a champion.
What did the face twitch mean to you? What do you think it meant?
It means you're trying too hard. If you really mean it, if you're really about that life, you don't have to force it. I'm just calm. I'm relaxed. I don't have no beef against you. But when you look at me, I'm coming to try to knock you out on Saturday, and that's my game plan.
Did you train at Rufus Sport for this?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't a super long camp. So yeah. I had already been training a little bit in L.A., Wildcard Boxing, my homie Hino out here. And, I did 2 weeks in Rufus, 2 weeks in Florida. if I'm fighting a jiu-jitsu guy, it's stupid for me not to go to Florida with all these black belts and all the access. So I did that as well. So I mean, I feel really confident in the preparation.
But Duke who will be your corner for this?
Duke's here. He might be running a little late.
So who's your corner for this one? Is this
my
same
corner
as
from this one is Ben Askren, Duke Rufus, Eric Brown from Wild Card, Dean Thomas.
Has Ben Askren been in your corner before?
Yeah, he's been in the corner before.
How about Eric? First time?
No, this is Eric's third time.
Third time? Okay.
Third time. The two Wonder Boy fights and then this one.
So you hated preparing for a season. Talk to me in camp. Was this camp a little bit easier preparing for Demian Maia?
It's not that I hate it. It's just it's not as fun. You know, fighting a guy like, you know, a freestyle fighter that's going to kind of do everything. You kind of get to show everything. In this fight, it would be stupid for me to try to show you guys my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's an idiot move. You know, so in other fights, I feel like I can showcase all the different martial arts. So this one was frustrating to the point that if you're not used to that claustrophobic pressure coming at you, then, you know, it can take you over. But I've had the Andre Guevars, I've had the Jake Shields, I've had the Nathan Coys. Those are the guys that come at you nonstop. It's almost like a walking punching bag. And, you know, if you want to walk into leather glove and right hands and left hands and uppercuts, then be my guest.
You say you're an MMA specialist, and you just said that answer there as well. Who do you think is the #2 guy in your division at, you know, doing everything really well and putting that complete game together?
It's hard to say. It's a very tough division. These guys are masterminds at making these matchups, and when they do that, you start seeing the guy raise up, get matched up, fall down. So it's just very hard to say at this point.
Speaking of your division, you're the last guy to fight Robbie. He's on this card as well. How do you think Donald's going to do moving up in weight, you know, to fight him?
I think these guys, he's not moving up in the weight. Donald's been in his weight for, 4 or 5 fights. So he's in this weight now, as far as I'm concerned. These guys are both coming off of a loss. Obviously, Robbie hadn't fought in almost a year. So it's just really, when these guys are both mentally strong and both mentally prepared, that's when they're world beaters. So if we see both of these guys come out and they're mentally ready, we're going to see a phenomenal fight. If we see one guy kind of wince back and kind of be a little timid, we'll see the other guy step up. So it just depends on where these guys are mentally.
Okay, gang. Thank you, Tyron.
Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler.